Mr. President, your envoy Steve Witkoff told us a little while ago that if Hamas does not release hostages, that the U.S. and Israel could take some action. What does that mean in your eyes? Is that military action? Would you join strikes with Israel?
What are you going to find out? I had the honor of spending a lot of time yesterday with quite a few of the people that we got out, and I can't believe how badly treated they were, really badly treated. Stories that you wouldn't even believe. Some of it was documented, some of it was so bad you couldn't really, I don't think you could believe it. And it's a shame. And they said one thing, they have 59 hostages, of which many of them are killed. They want to know if we could just continue. They said without us, look, Biden wasn't able to get anybody out. We came along and they started releasing. But we have 59 left, of which 24 are living. The rest are dead. And I put out a statement. It's sort of self-explanatory, I think. But somebody's going to have to get a lot rougher than they're getting. It's a shame. And those 24 that are living, because they were with them just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when they got out. But they said they're in very bad shape.
You spoke today with cabinet members of Elon Musk. What did you tell them in regards to Elon Musk and his authorities to carry out actions?
We had a great meeting. We had Elon and we had some of the representatives and the business reps. We also had most of the cabinet members, not all of them. It doesn't really pertain to all of them, but many of them. And I thought it was a really good meeting. It was about cutting, because we have, everybody knows the country's way out of control in terms of the number of people. We have many people that don't work. We have many people probably that aren't even living that are getting checks. And we're finding all of that out, and it's being reported. We just saved hundreds of billions of dollars. We've already saved a lot. Parts of it are contracts that are expired that we're paying on. Many crazy things that you can see it happening. It shouldn't happen, but you can see it happening. You see a lot of it being put out. But the other thing I think most important for today, I want the cabinet members to keep good people. I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of good people are cut. I want the cabinet members to keep the good people, and the people that aren't doing a good job, that are unreliable, don't show up to work, etc. Those people can be cut. So I had a meeting, and I said, I want the cabinet members go first, keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks, because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But I want them to do the best job they can. When we have good people, that's precious, that's very important, and we want them to keep the good people. And so we're going to be watching them, and Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
So, Mr. President, is that a reflection that you think Doge and Elon Musk have been moving too quickly?
No, I think they've done an amazing job. They've done an amazing job, and look at what they found. I read it the other night in the speech. I mean, they found these things where billions of dollars has been poured down the drain to things. That's not about people, that's about contracts where billions and billions of dollars was just thrown out the window. It probably got kickbacks. I'm sure there were tremendous kickbacks for the people that authorized those contracts. But no, Elon has been really teaching everybody about the numbers that you can do. What I want is I want the numbers, but I also want to keep the good people. We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon, and I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to, for the sake of our country. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat, and like nobody's ever seen before. Where you need 20,000 and they have 120,000 people, and you just don't need that many. And it happens with companies, and it happens with governments, I guess. You could go to a lot of governments, you'd see the same thing. But we're trying to get it down. We want to be able, next year we could balance the budget. I think there's a good chance we could balance the budget next year. We have a lot of good things happening. Plus we have a lot of revenue things happening, like today with the shipbuilding. And this gentleman behind me is going to create a lot of jobs. And it's about the biggest there is in the world. We had the biggest chip maker in the world here a few days ago. He's going to be spending $2 $200 billion on building plants. We're not giving them any money to build it. You know, it's the CHIP Act is ridiculous, where the Biden thing, where they give billions of dollars to people that have nothing but money. They're not going to spend that money. They're just taking that money. We're giving nothing. They're coming in because of the tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs, and they're opening up big. So, but with respect to people, I said, I want to cut the people, but I want to keep the good people. Those are happening next week, and the big one will be on April 2nd when reciprocal tariffs. So if India or China or any of the countries that really, India is a very high tariff nation. I'll tell you what's a high tariff nation is Canada. Canada charges us 250% for our milk product and other product, and a tremendous tariff on lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber. So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees. Also, we're cutting fire divides. Fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, you know, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out. And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. So, but we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So where we can be self-sustaining, which is in most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive. Massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly so that we don't have to go to other countries to buy lumber. You know, why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices, and we have lumber. We have the best lumber. It's just a modification, short term, because I didn't want to hurt the American. It would have hurt the American car companies if I did. We're not looking at that. No, we're not looking at that. No.
TPS for the Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What about it?
Are you considering revoking TPS status for the more than 20,000 Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What are you saying?
Yeah, the Ukrainians that are here.
Yeah, yeah.
Are under TPS status.
On GPS?
TPS, temporary.
Oh, I thought you said GPS. Yeah. Well, we're not looking to hurt anybody, and we're certainly not looking to hurt them. And I'm looking at that, and there are some people that think that's appropriate, and some people don't, and I'll be making a decision pretty soon. Okay? But we're not looking to hurt them, especially Ukrainians. They've gone through a lot. Yeah, Peter.
The clocks are going to spring forward on Saturday.
Okay, are you ready? So, this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's very much, it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. It's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case, what else do we have to do?
And I got to ask,
the second one with all of the cell phones. So, I want to find the answers. I told them. In fact, today I said, I want to find, we can no longer blame Biden for that one. He should have released that a long time ago. So they are giving me a report next week sometime. I do believe I'll be releasing. I want to release it. A lot of people have asked that question. You had one who had 3 apps, 2 of which were foreign, supposedly. and who has the biggest white shoe law firm in Pennsylvania, even though they don't live in necessarily a white shoe area. What's that all about? It's law, the law firm. The other one had 7 or 6 cell phones, and I don't have 6 cell phones. And why would somebody have 6 cell phones? So we're going to be releasing a report on that soon, Peter.
But based on what you're saying right there, the lack of information and
Yeah.
the data points that you just gave, does that make you think that there's some part of there's some bigger?
It could be. Well, it makes other people think that. It makes me think it a little bit too. I'd say when you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say why, I would say that could be suspicious. And then on the second assassin, you had, and by the way, I have to tell you, Secret Service did a great job on that by spotting him. But on the second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So, yeah, I want to find out. And I would be willing to release it. I think maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't. So I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis. But, yeah, I would be very willing to release that. I'd like to see it. I want to see it myself. Not only you, I want to see that one myself.
Mr. President, President Macron yesterday said that France was ready to offer its nuclear protection to other European countries. What do you make of it? And in this case, would the U.S. also maintain a nuclear umbrella for European countries?
Well, France is also willing to put soldiers into Ukraine for safety reasons if we can get it. I will say that we've made a lot of progress with Ukraine and a lot of progress with Russia over the last couple of days. We agreed to bring that to an end, so we don't have to talk that way about nuclear. We agreed if everybody would get rid of their nuclear weapons. We have Russia and us have by far the most. China will have an equal amount within 4 or 5 years. And it would be great if we could all denuclearize, because the power of nuclear weapons is crazy. It's crazy. And I was very far along the process with Russia, despite the Russia hoax, which didn't make it easy. It was a total hoax, total rigged hoax by some bad people. But despite that, I was very close to having a program with Russia, denuclearization, and we were going to get China. I spoke to President Xi about it, and he would have been very happy to have gone along with it. But bad things happened, like an election that was rigged happened, and so we had to come back 4 years later. But I would very much like to start those talks. The opposite of what you said, the denuclearization would be incredible.
Mr. President, on the auto tariffs that you were talking about, I know yesterday you spoke with the big 3. Did you tell them that no more exemptions were on the way, and what was the
I
reaction?
told them, that's it. This was a short-term deal. And they came back to me yesterday. They said, could we have some help on the tariffs because of the speed? And I said, look, I'm going to do it, but that's it. Don't come back to me after the April 2nd. I don't want to hear from you after April 2nd. We're not going to be doing it anymore. I want to help them.
What was the response?
They didn't complain, but I helped them short-term during this short-term transition. April 2nd is going to be a very big day for America.
Mr. President, Mr.
My
President.
understanding is that long-standing U.S. policy is that we do not negotiate
We are having discussions with Hamas. We are helping Israel in those discussions because we're talking about Israeli hostages. And we're not doing anything in terms of Hamas. We're not giving cash. We're not giving $6 billion like you hear other administrations give. In fact, I got 59 hostages out. We gave nothing. And 59, we gave nothing. Not including what's going on with Hamas. I mean, I consider that something where we're helping Israel for the most part. We had a couple of hostages, as you know. We got a couple of hostages out, American hostages.
Mr. President.
But certainly, Peter, I do. You have to negotiate. There's a difference between negotiating and paying. We want to get these people out. If you would have seen the people yesterday, maybe you did, I don't know. But if you would have seen them the way they spoke about their captivity, it was unbelievable. It was terrible.
Are you communications in detail where they
I've said that to them. I said, if you're not gonna pay, we're not gonna defend. I said that 7 years ago. And because of that, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, if you're not gonna pay your bills, we're not going to defend you. And it also went for the attack. But if they got attacked, they said, well, does that mean you won't defend us? I said, are you current or are you delinquent? They said, if we were delinquent, would you? I said, nope, I would not. And because of that, as you know, hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO. You wouldn't have NATO right now if I weren't there. And your previous Secretary General has said that. He said he's never seen anything like it. When I came to NATO, when I first had my first meeting, I noticed that people weren't paying their bills at all. And I said I should wait till my second meeting, and I did. And I brought that up. And I said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not going to participate, we're not going to protect you. And when I said that, as soon as I said that, it was amazing how the money came in. The money came in, and now they have money. But even now, it's not enough. It's really not enough. They should be paying more.
Mr. President, question on the investment, sir. You've overseen about $2 trillion worth of domestic private sector investments coming in just about 2 months. This is the newest one comes after your announcement of shipbuilding office at the White House during the joint session with Congress. Can you talk about why this is important not only for national security, but continuing the renaissance of domestic manufacturing?
Well, we have to maintain a strong country. We have to maintain, we want to pay off debt, a lot of debt, but that'll start coming off quickly when this all comes around. Look, we've been supporting the whole world. You mentioned NATO and you mentioned other things. We've been supporting the whole world. When I first came in, we were paying almost 100% of NATO. NATO it was crazy. We were supporting NATO. We were paying the bills for other countries. And yet those same countries, mostly European countries, were ripping us off in trade. They won't take our cars, they wouldn't take our agricultural product, they wouldn't take anything, yet we were taking their cars by the millions. Mercedes and BMW and you look, Volkswagen, all of them. We were taking their cars, they weren't taking them. We were taking their farm products, they weren't taking ours. It's a total ripoff, and yet we were protecting them by giving them the money. And, you know, that adds up to a bad number at the end of a lot of years. And that's what happened. And now it's time for this country to stop being ripped off. I had that done very much in the first administration, but then we had to focus on other things at the very end with COVID. But we had the greatest economy in history. The greatest economy in history. I think we're going to redo it here, but even better. And I wanted to do what we're doing now in the first term, but we had so many other things to do. We had to fix the border, which we did. We had to fix our military. We rebuilt our military. We completely rebuilt the military, only to watch Biden give so much of it away to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. It's not even believable. It's not even believable what he did. The damage that that man did or that administration did to this country is frankly not even believable. And in particular, allowing millions and millions of people to come into our country. Many of them were murderers and drug dealers and gang members and people from prison for very heinous crimes. For him to allow those people into our country, and now we're spending tremendous amounts of time and effort. Nikki and Tom Homan is doing an unbelievable job, but we shouldn't have to be spending anything on that. We had the safest border ever. Now we have actually, as you saw, the numbers just came out, where we have actually the lowest numbers in the history of our country. But we shouldn't have had to do that. What we're doing now is we're looking for murderers. Can you believe it? We're looking for murderers. There's thousands of murderers. Some, about 50%, killed more than one person. One killed 5 or 7. And we're looking for those people right now. We shouldn't have to be looking for
President Trump, on Peter's question, are you going to make that policy, U.S. policy, that the U.S. would defend NATO countries that don't pay?
I think it's common sense. If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. No, I'm not going to defend them. I got into a lot of heat when I said that. He said, oh, he's violating NATO. And you know, the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, you know, I mean, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble, we called them, we said, we got a problem, France, we got a problem, a couple of others I won't mention. You think they're gonna come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure. With Japan, we have a deal, which is a very interesting one. And I love Japan, we have a great relationship with Japan, but we have an interesting deal with Japan, that we have to protect them, but they don't have to protect us. You know that? That's the way the deal is. We have to protect Japan, and by the way, they make a fortune with us economically, there's another case, but we have to protect Japan, but under no circumstances do they have to protect us. I actually asked, who makes these deals? Yeah, Peter?
Well, so why standing so wrong?
I view NATO as potentially good, but gotta get some good thinking in NATO. It's very unfair what's been happening. Until I came along, we were paying close to 100% of NATO. So think of it, we're paying 100% of their military, and they're screwing us on trade.
And when Zelensky inevitably comes back to the White House, what do you expect from him? And you'll see him in the next time.
Well, I think what's going to happen is Ukraine wants to make a deal because I don't think they have a choice. I also think that Russia wants to make a deal because in a certain different way that only I know. Only I know. They have no choice either.
Are you still thinking of going to Saudi Arabia and meet the
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm going to Saudi Arabia. They've been very- You know, I've made a deal with Saudi Arabia where, because normally you'd go to UK first. And last time I went to Saudi Arabia, they put up $450 billion. You know that, right? You were there. We had American companies took in $450 billion. I said, well, this time they've gotten richer. They've all gotten older. So I said, I'll go if you pay $1 trillion, $1 trillion to American companies, meaning the purchase over a 4-year period of $1 trillion. And they've agreed to do that. So I'm going to be going there, and I have a great relationship with them. And they've been very nice, but they're going to be spending a lot of money to American companies for buying military equipment and a lot of other things. Well, probably over the next month and a half.
Mr. President, you told us a couple weeks ago that you were looking to speak with President Xi of China. That hasn't happened. How come? What do you wait since that last
I don't want to say that, but I have spoken. Yeah, please. I have a great relationship with President Xi. It was hurt because of COVID. That's why I don't call it the China virus anymore. So please don't call it the China virus.
But to be clear, you've spoken to him since January 17th?
I don't want to say that, but I have spoken to him. And I speak to him a lot.
Regarding this executive order you signed revoking security clearances at Perkins Coie, do you think there should be more steps like this to be taken against other people involved in the Russia collusion?
I do, but that's going to be up ultimately to the Attorney General and various other people.
Just as a follow-up, the other night, we saw Democrats' behavior during your joint address to Congress.
Yeah.
Do you think it shows just how out of touch they are with the American people, especially given that 79%, according to a CBS poll, approved of your
I love this guy. Who are you?
My name is Nick Gilbertson with Breitbart News.
I really liked your questions.
Thank you very much. So regarding the executive
The answer is just, Nick, just to, and I know your name very well. Yeah, the answer is I thought it was very embarrassing for the Democrats what happened the other night. And that's not said for any other reason other than it's obvious, it's fact. Even CNN fake news said that. They came out and they said it. And worse than CNN is MSDNC, which is the worst. And the good news is very few people watch them anymore. They have lost such credibility. And frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, but she's not very talented. But I'll tell you what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign. And Rachel Maddow should be forced to resign. Nobody watches her anymore. I don't know. It's not possible they pay her as much money as I hear. certainly she's lost all credibility, both of them. But what they said the other day, they should be forced to resign about that young person who was suffering greatly. Thank you.
Will you extend, if TikTok will not pay another timeline you gave, will you extend that? You will.
I think, look, we have a lot of interest in TikTok. And China's going to play a role. So hopefully China will approve of the deal. But they're going to play a role. But we have a lot of interest in TikTok.
How long will you extend it? How close are you to
Well,
the
we'll see. But if I need, I don't, right now, we have at least another month. So we don't need an extension. But if I need an extension, I'll probably get an extension. Yeah, but
Mr. President, regarding the
No, I want to bring the schools, back to the states. And, you know, I've said it 100 times, we're ranked at the bottom of the list, and yet we spend more. We're ranked #1 for cost per student. We're ranked at the bottom of the list in education. And I know if I bring it back to Iowa, Indiana, Idaho, all these great states, I think I could say 40 states. I want to bring it back. 10 states won't be perfect, 5 states will be probably not so good, but they will be every bit as good as Norway and Denmark and Sweden and all of the states that are rated at the top. If you tell me about Indiana and some of these great states that run really well, Iowa, you tell me about those states, and if they run their own education, they're going to do a lot better than somebody sitting in Washington, D.C. that couldn't care less about the pupils out in the Midwest.
Mr. President,
Well, I want to just do it. I mean, we're starting the process. We're trying to get the schools back into the states. Let the states run the schools. And I'll tell you, you'll see something, it's gonna blow your mind. It'll be run so well. The school system, and I also believe in school choice, but that will take care of itself.
Follow to that, Mr. President, if the education department were eliminated, how would you see, sort of what department, what agency would handle student loans and the other types of
That
federal
would be
grants?
brought
the
in,
education
yeah, that would be brought into either Treasury or Small Business Administration or Commerce. And we actually had that discussion today. I don't think the education should be handling the loans, that's not their business. I think it'll be brought into small business maybe. Kelly really liked it and really would like to do it. So the loans would be brought into a group where they would do that. And I think that is, by the way, the most complicated thing in moving. But it's very simple. You do that.
in the same for ineffective grants?
Out of Gaza, I think that Gaza's a mess. And I think that Gaza could be good. I think it's got to be run properly. Right now, Gaza is an absolute mess, and it has been for many, many years and decades. Yeah, Peter, did you have one more?
I did, yeah. Hey, Starliner, astronauts, stuff in space for 8 months.
Oh, they left them alone. Biden left them up there.
And what do you know about that?
I know everything about it. I said, we have 2 astronauts that are stuck in space. I have asked Elon, I said, do me a favor, can you get him out? He said, yes, he is preparing to go up, I think, in 2 weeks.
What do you know about how this went down? Is he saying that the Biden White House was offered some kind of SpaceX rocket to go get these guys and they said no?
That's what I heard. I can't tell you that, but that's what I heard. But Biden was embarrassed by what happened, and he said, leave him up there. I would have said, if you're embarrassed, you got to get him out. Elon is right now preparing a ship to go up and get him.
I'm sure that they will see this in space. What's your message?
We love you, and we're coming up to get you, and you shouldn't have been up there so long. The most incompetent president in our history has allowed that to happen to you. But this president won't let it happen. We're going to get them out. We're coming up to get you. I've authorized Elon. I said, can you get them out? Because, you know, they've been left up there. I hope they like each other. But maybe they'll love each other. I don't know. But they've been left up there. Think of it. And I see the woman with the wild hair, good solid head of hair she's got. There's no kidding, there's no games with her hair, but, and you know, there's a danger up there too. They can have some failures up there that would be very bad. You gotta get them out. So I've authorized Elon a week ago. I said, you know, we have 2 people up there that Biden and Kamala left up there. And he knows it very well. I said, are you equipped to get him? He said, yeah, he's got a Starship. And they're preparing it right now. And so Elon is going to go up and get him. Should I go on that journey just to be on the ship when we stop? What do
If
you,
that's an option,
I should do it. Oh, that's terrible. I thought he liked me. I thought he liked me. I thought, Maria, should I do it?
you should then come.
Maria likes me better.
You should then come back.
Well, when they come back, I'll greet them. How about that? No, we're gonna get him out. I've authorized Elon Musk to go and get him, and he's prepared to do so. I think it's globalists that see how rich our country's gonna be, and they don't like it. You know, big market out there. But again, they've been ripping off this country for years, and now